We're on?
Recording. How do I do this?
Just like that. How low can you go?
Dorf on golf.
Oh, Nikes. This is tight quarters.
It was a lot tighter.
Can you guys hear?
No. Yeah. What?
Can you guys hear? We're totally punching above our weight today, guys.
Unbelievable.
Okay. So, hey everybody. Welcome to the Muni Misfits, and we're not in the morning, okay? We're coming live to you from where are we at, Cookie?
We are at the PGA show.
Atta boy.
Did any of you guys get any jitters? Once we saw like where the studio is?
Yes.
I think NBC just cleared out right before us.
We are in the center of the show floor. This is crazy.
This is pretty nuts. So, and we have a special guest today. We got head golf professional at the Oxbow Country Club, Corey Herlickson. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, my wife would call me special and different reasons, but yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You are special.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Your wife didn't make the trip this year. She was going to miss out because she could have been on our podcast.
I would not put her on the podcast.
Is he the first non-Muni to be on the show?
Oh gosh, we got to look at. I think so. As far as an administrator, I think he would be the first non-Muni.
Trend setting.
But you come from Muni roots, right, Corey?
I do.
Yeah.
Via the Meadows.
Once a Muni, always a Muni.
Always.
Thanks for joining us. And today we're going to just kind of dive into the show. We're going to talk about the new stuff. We're going to talk about what's kind of moving the needle and what your guys' take so far. Today is Wednesday. The show goes until Friday. We're down in Orlando, Florida. And this is a huge undertaking. So I'm just going to kind of go down the row here. Which should we start? Left, right, left? You want?
He wants to start.
Yeah, he wants to start. So Matthew Cook, what are you thinking about this year's show? What are you taking in so far? What do you like?
I haven't been here since 2016, so I have forgotten a little bit about what this is all about. So walking in on the show floor right away was like, wow. I forgot how large this was. Had an opportunity to take in some education this morning. That was all great. And then for about the last 3 or 4 hours, I have just been walking up and down, putting on the miles.
Now, what did we do yesterday? What did you do yesterday?
We've walked around a big, huge driving range.
So for those of you that haven't been to Orange County National, right? So that's demo day is the first day. It's Tuesday. Totally cool environment, but it's a 360-degree driving range. So everyone is hitting golf balls into the middle of the range. And there are vendors and new products and services and everything set up all the way around this driving range. It's a spectacle to see. What did you take in from demo day there, Cookie?
You know, the demo day was really cool. Obviously, most of the big players were there between Ping, Titleist, Cobra. Who else am I missing? It was all right.
It was all right.
Matt has not been impressed this week.
So far,
He is like difficult.
it's been all right.
That's a good assessment. I went once and
Okay,
never
yeah.
went again.
So were you at demo day?
Not this year,
Okay.
but probably about 7 years ago.
All right. So did you have a different experience, Greg?
I haven't been here since like 2018, and I love demo day. I'm not going to be there for 5 hours,
You
but
guys
I do love demo day because we walked. I mean, you get to. I'm not kidding you. This is like there's nothing there that you don't see.
right. You got all the products.
My main focus yesterday was robotic range pickers.
And hopefully we'll get some time to actually insert some stuff. Those of you that are tuning into the YouTube portion, and you'll see what we're talking about and some video of like the robotic stuff. I would say the thing that is dominating the show so far has been, and it's not a surprise, right? Is electronics, it's software, it's robotics, it's things that are really like pushing the industry forward in that direction. AI is another really big deal. So it's fun being part of the industry right now where everything is evolving. It's taking I don't want to say aging. It's not, but it's been around. The industry has been around a very long time, and we are really up in the ante right now with what the product offering is, especially. So, any big takeaways though from demo day? Did you like anything?
I thought my takeaway just recently was it was funny when you looked at Greg when you said aging.
I mean, it's at least we're consistent.
Corey, you're going to become a constant on this show. We're going to have you.
Am I out?
No,
The yellow, the
you're
pink slip's
in.
out.
He's in.
I mean, we
It's
can
going
only
to
do
4.
3. 3 is the max. So here's what I mean, as an older guy, I'm old. I think this show has been really exciting
Vintage.
in the new technology. Lots of new things going on in golf, not only technology, clothing wise, cart wise. I mean, way fresher, in my opinion, this show is than normal. I mean, there's a lot of excitement. There's always the excitement, but there's lots of changes going on, and I think those changes are going to continue to happen quicker. And I think this show has been really good for that.
So the robot range picker, we'll just dive right in. What do you see? Where do you see that being a viable option? Do you see that being a viable option for, we'll say, Fargo Parks, but then above and beyond, you're definitely seeing some people adopt that. But do you see that being a viable option within the Fargo Parks? What do you think about robots, Greg?
I love robots, actually. Okay. I think, again, we have to look forward with the challenges that we're having in the industry with employment and things like that. I think it offers an opportunity for us to try to move forward. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No, it's not going to happen tomorrow. But as we, at least we have a look at it. We know what it is. We kind of have some costs involved, and we'll have to weigh those out. But again, I think the freshness of new technology is going to be really good.
So the cool thing, did you see any of the robots today?
I did not know.
Okay.
He doesn't care.
But the cool thing about the robots really is that, I mean, there's the first time I came to the show, there was one, right? And it was such a prototype. And now, coming to the show 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, there's competition, there's new units, and people are resolving that problem. I mean, right now, holy cow, these robot range pickers are doing 14 hours a day on a single charge. Their capacity is 1,000 to, I think there was one that had 1,400 golf balls, and can pick an entire driving range, continuously 24 hours a day. It's man, that is seriously solving an issue right now that, when we're looking at diving into human resources and how difficult it is to hire people. Not that we want to replace people, but it definitely fills the gaps where we need to, and it solves a huge issue in the golf department. So I'm pretty excited about it, whether we adopt that technology or not. It's going to be exciting to see how other courses are adopting that same technology.
I think we all want our staffs, and Corey is the same way. We all want our staffs to service the people that we get to see. We don't necessarily want our staffs,
number one.
Yep. Doing something that if we can have this technology do it and use it, let's get our people in front of people instead of a person on an inanimate object.
Right. Yes. I mean, the robot part is you put a kid. Now, granted, we all love running the picker.
That's the greatest thing in the world,
right?
man.
Okay.
Nothing better than a picker sesh.
That's not going away, by the way. I'm still going to do that.
100%.
Can't wait to see you riding that robotic
on
thing
top?
and the ball's coming in. Just,
surfer
what's going
boy?
on? Yeah.
So, but the part of it is when it gets really busy and the range actually becomes a deterrent, right? Oh my God, we're running out of range balls. We're super duper busy. We got to go out and pick it. This kind of solves that issue in that there's always somebody picking the range. And again, to your point, we're putting humans in front of humans, right? So we're allowing that customer service to really shine. And that's a cool deal. So I think that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. So, all right.
I think the camera, if we turned the camera around right now,
funny.
It actually would be, there's celebrities here watching us.
Golfing legends
of the game.
Hall of Famers.
What I was really kind of excited about is there is so many different tools, equipment to measure everything we do now.
Yep.
It's so neat as far as, when we look at trying to become better golfers. I spent a lot of time today, even around the fitness end of it,
hey,
and all
Cookie,
the things they've got there.
Eat the mic.
Eat the mic.
Eat the mic, Cookie.
So from a fitness standpoint, from speed conditioning to strength conditioning, then you get into as far as I can't imagine how many different booths there are as far as when you're getting into like actually as your movement patterns, force plates. I mean, there's a lot going on here as far as in technology that a person can go down.
Did you say food plate or force plate?
Force
Can you
plate.
tell I'm hungry? I'm
Greg,
shocked.
Greg is
shocking
thinking
I'm
about
hungry.
Bahama Breeze
I
right
am,
now, baby.
I actually am. Yes. And our hosts are here.
They are.
Yes, you're right, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just absolutely. It's really, really cool when you look at it.
So you guys have an idea of how many exhibitors there are here? I know the answer.
man.
So
Is
you
this
know,
an
that's
over
why I'm
under?
asking the
You got an
question.
over-
Sure.
you know-
over
you know?
under. I do. Over under.
Oh my gosh. So we have like,
I'll say okay. Here's what I'll give you an over under. Over under 900.
Over.
I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna say it's like around 825.
It's more than that. Over
No.
under 1,300.
What?
oh wow. I'm still playing the over.
Yeah, I would say over.
Under 1,000. There's 1,000
Okay. Hey,
So-
good call on the over under. You set the line very.
in it.
Are you including the food court?
I'm including every yes. Nathan's hot dogs, by the way,
There's about
right
25
outside.
of those around here.
I had
food
one of
courts.
Nathan's kraut dogs earlier.
How about people through the building?
Oh
How
my
many people
goodness.
are coming through the building?
35,000.
I'm going to say over under 35,000.
Is it more or less than the Phoenix Open on a daily basis?
We under that amount. This is a day though, not total. One day.
Because I
One
know
day.
you're about drama, I'm going to say over.
I'm about drama.
You are. Well, it's good. It's good podcast.
So we got over,
I'm going over on 35.
Over 35.
over.
Well, yeah, on one day,
Yeah.
I'll say under 35.
Okay. It's over.
It's wrong again.
We're not
38.5.
over under 44,000.
That's
Holy smokes.
Under.
This is all golf too.
This is all golf.
I'm going to still say over.
Under 40,000.
Greg's a pattern guy.
There was a pattern there.
I mean, you're a newbie
Yeah,
around me.
I wanted it to be
You
more.
are.
I wanted it to be
Yeah.
more. than
So I mean,
44.
you think about the impact, and we're talking people from
the industry,
everywhere.
just the industry though.
yes.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's an awesome. It's overwhelming.
so okay. So we got this giant showroom floor, and I heard like 1 million square feet of showroom floor. I think is what they were saying. Don't fact check me on that, but I think that's pretty close. So today is all about the vendors. So we've got soft goods, we got tech, we've got hard goods, we've got solutions, we've got accessories, all sorts of stuff. Did you guys have, all of you I know had some meetings, but was there a big one? Was there a winner today? Was there something that you're like, holy cow, this is really cool? Was there one thing?
Of the education? Yeah.
No.
Total.
Oh,
Total.
total.
There is.
How much education did you have today, Cookie?
God, no kidding.
He's a smart kid.
I knew I knew your head was big, but it's like getting really big now.
I unfortunately even blew one
Lots
of
of
them
brains. You blew one of them off?
off. I did. I was a little meetinged out.
So,
That's why I don't book any meetings.
oh, you like to free flow this whole thing.
So my strategy is when I come in here is I walk the floor the first day, the entire floor.
I think
About
I've heard you say
24,000
this
steps. I
before.
walk the floor, figure out where I want to go. And I've got my things I'm kind of looking at, but what I want to do is I've got a goal in mind. Okay, I'm looking for women's clothing.
Yep.
And I hit the booths around and try to figure out where I want to hit the next day, the important ones that I want to spend some time with. Don't book any meetings at all. My second biggest one is the trends, is walking around. And when you see a booth that's packed to the gills, you go, okay, what's going on here? Why is this place so packed? Because I don't know who this vendor is, or
Right.
you know who it is, but you don't know it's going to pick up. And I'll give you some examples that I've encountered. So my first show coming here as being a part of the Fargo Moorhead golf community was in 2007. And I walked past the Puma booth and you couldn't get in. I mean, there were people 3-4 deep all the way around it. I'm like, there's something going on there. So I walked in, tried to figure it out. What was the Ricky Fowler deal? And I went straight back afterwards.
Was Big Rick out there?
He was not there, but it was like Ricky was, starting to tear it up. Everyone wearing the orange stuff, the orange pants. I got home, called my rep, Ronnie Escarica, and I ordered Puma right then and there, ordered 46 pieces or 48. I sold out of it in a month. I mean, just ran through it super quick. And then a couple years later, I see this booth. It's got this huge RV parked around it, and there's people standing all over the place. It's Travis Matthew.
Right.
I booked Travis Matthew, sold through it super quick. And I knew who Travis was to a degree. And then about 4 years ago, right before COVID, there was a booth. It's black and it just had a wolf on it. I had no idea what it was. And it was like double as bad as what Puma was.
They got bouncers out front now.
They
I think.
they did. They had people standing out front so you couldn't get in.
I'm not joking.
I walked up to a guy and I go, "What brand is this?" He goes, "Oh, it's called Grayson." I'm like, "Okay, I got to figure this out." Hey,
Right.
who's my rep? Called him up, and we have ripped Grayson for the last 4 years. So for me, it's about figuring out what we can get, a couple of years in advance of everybody else based on these trends of what's super, super busy.
Yeah.
I think as a vendor, what I would do, I would hire customers to stand out in front of my booth.
Nothing.
This guy.
I am pretty sure that that's what they're doing, man.
Nothing draws a crowd like a crowd, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a recipe, right? But I will tell you, you can kind of get a pulse of the industry just by walking around and seeing what's busy, right? And so, like, I will tell you, I really like soft goods. I really like the apparel side of things. I like
No.
That's good. Know that.
and you're good.
And, well, not
And
that.
you're good. No, but seriously, the apparel side of things, the soft goods side, man, have you gotten your hot lap in?
Yeah.
And I mean, I know top secret stuff here. Do you have an idea?
7 Diamonds was packed, super busy. I mean,
Yep.
they must have had, I would assume, probably 12 tables in there
Yep.
doing meetings. And every time I walked
Yep.
past it, there were people at every single table packed and people kind of standing around, milling around.
Yep.
And I've noticed it in advertisements in
Right.
Golf Digest, in
Yep.
our PGA magazine that we have as an industry magazine
Yep.
that we get. 7 Diamonds is all over that. So they have a very diverse
That's
line of clothing
exactly right.
that can fit everything from button-ups to stuff you wouldn't even wear at a golf course that you might wear out if you're in Montana and Missoula or something like that. It's crazy. That place was super packed. That's what I noticed there.
Yeah. So the cool thing about 7 Diamonds is just the array of the catalog, and that you can get it for. I mean, it is like going to a department store, right? And so it's not just golf specific. They've got great golf stuff, but they also have like everything under the sun. The stuff that that I kind of looked through today that was kind of creating a buzz, and we've carried a little bit of it too. I don't know if you guys have, but we've carried some True Linkswear. There was a lot of buzz over on that side. That was a lot of fun hanging out in the lounge area, but they're normally known, with Ryan Moore, Jason Moore.
I was going to ask, is that the shoe company?
Yeah, so
Okay.
they started out as a shoe company out on the West Coast, and in the Washington area, and they're that zero heel drop, very kind of casual, flexible type shoe, and they've got some tour pros wearing it, but now they've kind of gone off into the apparel side of it, and it is really neat what they're doing with logoing and branding, and it's really kind of, I wouldn't say pushing the envelope, but it's making us think a little bit differently about how we dress for golf. The hoodie debate was such a big deal these last few years. Like, is a hoodie golf? And so, like, you got Polo Ralph Lauren, making their cashmere hoodie. Well, now we're seeing a lot of hoodies, right, Greg? I mean, a hoodie is a staple now, and I think in any golfer's closet. And I don't know if there's any vendor here that is an apparel company that doesn't have a hoodie now, right? And so there's a lot more street-inspired fashion that I'm seeing. And for one, I love that. The part I love is going out, wearing something that's not overly golfy, and going to like a bar restaurant afterwards. And like, you can spot the golfers, right? And it's great to see golfers out there that's promoting our game. But I don't want to be the golfer that's in the restaurant, right? So I want something that has a little bit more wearability. And I think that's what you're seeing a lot in the soft goods line right now.
So hoodies are still going to be in 24. What about like loud patterns?
Yeah, I think loud patterns are tastefully done. Here's what I think. Grandma's wallpaper is kind of in right now. And it's been in for a couple of years, right? That really kind of ornate patterns are in, right?
My closet's working right now. Is that what you're
It might
saying?
be coming back around. But, tastefully done, right? So, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I walked into Donald Ross today.
Yeah.
And Donald Ross for those of you that don't know, they're very conservative. I mean, they do pattern shirts, but they've had the same patterns year over year over year, and they just changed the colors up. And I walked in there, they changed their patterns on their print shirts, which is like, you know, they used to have like a dog bone and a shark and a dolphin or whatever. They had a grandma's drapes pattern on their shirt. And when I saw Donald Ross having that, you know that it's hit that point where people are wearing that when a conservative company is willing to put out, their thistle is kind of their logo.
Yeah.
Well, they had thistles draping all over. And I thought I was at my grandma Frances's house when I saw that shirt because it looked like a pair of drapes. But when they're conservative, you know that that's a popular thing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So apparel, much more street, much more casual, but also fun. There's a lot of really cool fabrics out there. What about hard goods, guys? What are you seeing in hard goods?
I mean, I think as we go stretch this out, the technology has changed so much, and the companies are doing a better job of getting us technology to help the player. The Muni guys, not the country club guys, but the Muni guys were
We needed education.
We had a ping breakfast,
Free breakfast.
a ping breakfast this morning. I'm not kidding. You talk about 3 engineers. I just want, again, the part that I liked is the technology that you're going to see from all the companies. I'm going to use Ping that we have available to us is going to help the consumer tremendously. And some of the exciting things that are happening. And again, golf has become, you could kind of stay stagnant for 3 or 4 years and you would be just fine. Even those companies are starting to go, you know what, we can't do that anymore. We got to be nimble. We got to be able to jump from here to here to here. So, it's hard sometimes to do that, but the geek out deal to me with those engineers, and I'm going to drop what's my favorite term of the day? Tensor.
Tensor, that's right. Yeah.
So if any engineers are watching,
Derivative.
David Booth, Tensor.
The calculation.
Yes.
What was it? The tensor derivative?
Yeah.
What was that?
MOI. It has to do with MOI and how it changes. So you can go down the hole as much as you want.
You can say the word tensor. You have no idea what that means.
I know. I don't either. And I went through it.
And a good question, and Matt, this is a good question for you. Do you think that, you look at Ping, they've got they're getting up to 10,000 MOI, that moment of inertia number.
They're there.
Callaway claims to be at about 9,500 to 9,800. Are these engineers looking at the ball rollback that came out a couple of years ago during that testing pattern and maybe designing these clubs knowing that ball could have been potentially rolled back to try to gain technology on the club side, knowing we might be losing distance on the ball side?
Were you primed for questions before you
I was on the monitor that he's reading right there.
No
I'm
kidding.
just kidding. Yes.
Well articulated.
I would say they have to be. And these guys know how I feel about the ball deal. It'll be nothing. It'll be much ado about nothing. But the USGA, all the companies are at the line, and they're trying to figure out a way they can still be inside the TSA box. I'm going to use terminology from this morning.
Yep, absolutely.
In 430 cc's, but they still have to be inside the box. It was interesting to me that there's
460.
I thought 430. They're going. I wasn't supposed to say that.
What are you talking
They're going
about?
down to 430. Didn't you know that? USGA is going to 430.
When?
I can't say that. I
Jesus.
wasn't supposed to do that.
Uh-oh.
So they have a 460 cc and then they have a box. So it was interesting to see. So yes, they're going to be. And when you talk about MOI and ball speed, those are contradict. The more MOI you have, the ball speed goes down, just the way it is. So it was interesting to see the way they do that. And I would say Corey for sure. They're way out there trying to figure out what's going to happen.
So and another thing, we talked a little bit about this before that Ping breakfast. The weighting of the driver, and they are up against the TSA box, and then also all of the weighting and that MOI right there. Everyone's trying to get to that 10K MOI, which is what, guys? The MOI is what? The resisting of twisting, as that club is passing through impact, right? And it's essentially a stability factor in the driver. So all these clubs are trying to get to this 10,000 mark, which basically establishes their stability. Interestingly enough, we've been told too that they're so close to being illegal. I hate to say that word, but non-conforming. Thank you. They're so close to being non-conforming that, a little bit of a weight shift and lead tape can turn these clubs to be too stable and actually make them illegal. Now, that's super interesting to even just from a tinkerer standpoint to see really what that 10,000 mark really means. I do know that all the equipment right now is
super good.
It's super good, and that 10,000 mark is pretty incredible that those engineers have strived to they've got that far. But if you've been sitting on tech for a couple of years, if you've been sitting on a new driver, getting a new driver for 2-3 years, I think this is the year of the driver. I think this is the year that you want to get fit, because there's substantial increases in technology, stability, forgiveness. Obviously, on-center hits are going to be on-center, right? You're still going to bomb it if you're a high-speed, like really center contact kind of guy or gal. But if you struggle to hit the center, now's your year.
One of the things I think is super amazing is you can put numbers into, any company has apps or whatever you can put them into. I was enlightened today that you put numbers into this app and it can figure out exactly what you want, exactly what, how many times, Corey, what club should I have?
Yeah.
Should I hit a 3-iron? Should I hit a 4-iron? How many irons do I need? And where's the benefit there? So as the technology for phones and monitors and all that stuff gets better in apps, you can put the numbers in there and pick a design or an iron design, and it will tell you what you should be hitting. And actually, the most amazing thing was it'll tell you how far you're hitting it, because people don't know how far they hit the ball. We talk about this all the time. It will tell you how far you hit it. That's scary.
So, as a fitter, when you're doing a lot of fitting, and Corey, obviously, like you guys do a ton of fitting out at Oxbow. And I don't want to throw anyone under the bus here, but do people actually know how far they're hitting the golf ball?
They don't.
No, they don't.
They don't.
And I would tell you right now, the fact that if I didn't have, some launch monitor access and things at my disposal, I probably wouldn't know either. I actually had an enlightening experiment, I guess, happened this off season when I started hitting the same golf ball that I was playing, like a Pro V1 left dash, on a launch monitor as compared to what a typical range ball would be. Yeah. So knowing that information, just knowing how far you're hitting your golf ball, is a huge asset to being able to be fit for that going forward. And yeah, it's knowledge is
even
power.
More so is people have an idea of how far they hit it. They don't have an idea of how far they carry it.
Awesome
and that's
point.
the biggest thing.
Correct.
Yes.
And so it's like guys know, it's 175. I'm going to hit my 5-iron, for instance. They might only hit that, I think, 160 yards. They got to release a 15 yards plus, but they don't know how far they carry it. So in those moments when you need to know, your carry distance, both short and long, it's a pretty good idea to have that in your bag. And like Greg just said, it'll show you what your carry distance is. You'll have your gapping right there. The other thing that was cool too is on the gapping of that, of telling you too what optimizes your game the best. So like even he was talking about, who was the player who was talking about that, like the short 5?
Corey Connors.
Corey Connors, So it wasn't a 7-wood truly, but they were kind of going through once again as far as with his numbers. And you're looking at like such things as optimizing even like your trajectory, your height of it, carrying in it. That's the other thing too. I think people a lot of times they've got clubs in their bag that really serve them no purpose. It's such a flat trajectory. They'd have no hold value. They don't hit very well either. There might be something else that you could replace for that 4-iron or 3-iron or.
Yeah, one of the things that we've got TrackMan technology out at Oxbow, and I've done fitting. Are you still using the flight scope that you got from me, or no?
I've got a quad.
Okay. Oh, you got a quad. Good for you.
Flight scope.
No,
so a Vivo and
this is a bit. He's got every launch monitor possible.
We should actually have had him on the table. We needed another table.
So the TrackMan technology within that, about a year and a half
They're
ago,
cheering for you.
they like the fact that you have a lot of stuff.
Took me to buzz you with my DeWiz.
Yes, you can. The TrackMan built in artificial intelligence into their software, and they call it Tracy. And you can hit the button, and it will tell you what you need to do to be a better golfer. And it will compare you on a handicap basis
Yes.
on your deviation from center and your accuracy in regard to consistency of carry. And the one thing that we typically find out at Oxbow, especially when we begin the simulator season, is the membership will say, this thing's not registering it correctly. I'm not hitting it as far as I could. It's like, okay. And what we use on our stock ball is we use the Titleist Tour Practice Ball, which in essence is a Tour Soft, which is going to spin a little more. But Titleist came up with technology. It's the RCT. It's radar capture technology. And it's got, in essence, a magnetic strip around the entire core of the ball, so it picks up the ball better. And when we put that ball in there, it does give them a little bit better distance, typically around 5 more yards of distance. But, you know, what we try to stress to them is, you know, your total distance, as Matt said, but you don't know what your carry is. The biggest thing is trying to find what you can carry the golf ball. And a good example at Oxbow is hole number 7. It used to be 15. It's an all-water carry par 3. And if you hit a little weak fader, it's guaranteed it's in the water. And you need to know, all right, shoot the front edge of that, and it's 153. I know I need to carry this with a perfect shot at 153. And we all know as golf pros, you start deviating off the center a half inch, that's 5 yards. And you need to know, how am I swinging today? Am I able to hit the ball the way that I think I'm going to hit it? And that's what this technology has brought to the game. Is it's just advanced things so far from what it used to be 10 years ago. But even in the last 5 years, what they're able to do has just, it's gone from us to being on Earth to going to the moon, as far as a big difference. And like Greg said, it'll tell you the clubs that you need to hit. It'll tell you the clubs that you need. And that's what we do as golf pros is, all right, I know you came in for this, but we need to try these things too, because you 100%. Never know what is going to be better for you. I don't know how many people have come and said, I want to get fit for a Callaway driver. It's like, all right, we're going to try all 4 brands. And they walk out with something completely different. They say, I never thought that I would be a Titleist guy or a TaylorMade guy. But you have a tighter dispersion. If that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for distance, then you get a little bit more distance on it. And I remember fitting without that stuff. It was like, that looks good. Oh, yeah, that's the club for you, you know.
Quantifying it. Numbers don't lie. I mean, numbers are numbers. So.
To that point, I would say all 4 of us, not to toot our own horns, but you know, you can watch someone hit a golf ball and you can see visually that they're hitting it better. But it's the quantitative data right now that you can definitively answer that question where, am I hitting this better? And you can boil it down to, yeah, dude, you're hitting it 1.5 yards farther, which is amounting to 5 more yards or whatever it may be. You know, you're hitting that shot window where now your peak 7 is like 105, where it was, 105 feet where it was 90. So you're able to definitively answer that question, which is really helpful. It just validates what you're seeing as a fitter and as a teacher. So,
and if you go out, one of the things that I like doing is going out and playing with the membership, and that has made me a better observer of what's going on. So when we're on the course, we obviously don't have a launch monitor with us, but you can see a member out there about 3 holes in, you can see a repetitive shot flight, and you can go, hey, you're spinning the ball too much. That thing is spinning way too much. Well, how can you tell? Well, I've seen 25,000 golf balls hit with a launch monitor, and I know where the numbers are supposed to be, and I know what a ball flight's supposed to look like. And that's not what it's supposed to look like. So you know what? You should come in and get fit. Come and get fit. You don't have to buy a new club, but let's bring your club in. Let's see what the numbers are, and let's see if we can tweak that. And if we can't tweak it, then maybe we look at going into a different product where you can get in a better situation where you're not spinning the ball like crazy, dealing with the wind where we're at. That's a huge thing when you're dealing with spin in our area. So that stuff makes us better golf friends and better head professionals, even when we're on the course without that, because you can see it and you know it because you have that repetition of fitting over and over and over, or teaching over and over.
Can't believe how many growing up in the state of North Dakota, right? We grabbed the lowest number ever possible on a driver all the time because we thought we're going to hit it low because it's windy. And we're now finding out that is terribly untrue, and it's terrible. So when TaylorMade came out with a 7-degree burner, I'm like, we all got to have it. we go to tournaments and we would all have it, and we all just cost ourselves so much gain because we did that. And now we know, if you look at it, that's not right.
Hold up, GMAC. You had a 7 degree?
How am I doing?
You
7 degree. Yeah.
Holy buckets.
You suppose I liked it? Not at all.
I don't think so.
You suppose I hung back? You suppose I had a bad back for like the rest of my life because of it? Because I was hanging back because I had to do anything I could to get the ball up in the air.
He needed that 7 degree to get that feather ball up there.
So, but speaking,
That's true.
Speaking, and we're just kind of hammering on launch conditions and and the tech side of things. But I will say that when you go get fit, the characteristics of what an optimal flight have also shifted too. We were talking a little bit about like when you're listening to like a Cam Champ, and he's like a super high speed player. Guy has ball speeds up into like the 190, but his launch is like at a 7, right? And you're like, as a fitter, we're going, whoa, that's like way too low. Could you imagine how far you could hit it if he launched it a little higher? I was just gonna say, like, the math has already been done in saying that actually that is, for him, that is optimal based upon what his angle of attack and what his launch characteristics are like. So it's not like we're trying to fit people in this precise, like everyone needs to be a 12 degree launch at 2300 spin. It's not that. It is us as fitters going out and trying to figure out what is your optimal launch window based upon what you can bring to the table. So that's a lot of really cool stuff that we get.
As a general consumer, the faster you swing it, you can handle lower loft. Generally.
Yes.
When you don't swing it fast, you need loft. How many times do we see, you know what? I hit my 3-wood farther than my driver.
All the time.
Okay,
Thank
so
you for saying that.
What does that tell you? Your driver loft is not good. And maybe that's as far as you can hit it. So, I mean, don't be afraid. Again, I think we're getting over this stigma about loft. Don't be afraid to get something that's got loft to it, because it maximizes the way the golf balls work these days. It's just the way it is. I mean, and loft is your friend.
When that fitting aspect goes all the way across the spectrum, it's not just drivers, it's in irons. And I was in a Titleist seminar today with Bob Vokey. They were releasing the
Wedges.
SM10. So it was Michael Breed hosted it. It was Bob Vokey. It was Andrew Dill, who is the tour guy. And then Brad Faxon sat in.
We watched Brad Faxon at the demo day yesterday.
Yeah. So they were talking about a guy named like Cam Young, who's just, you want to talk about speed. They were talking about the specific shafts that they put into the wedges for guys like that, because, on a wedge, what we want to do is, believe it or not, we want to launch it lower.
Right.
Because when the ball launches higher, you lose distance, but more importantly, you lose spin. A lower launching ball in a wedge will launch it lower and will also spin it more, and you want a certain window to be within. So they were talking about trying to find the perfect shaft for a guy like Cam Young, who's got speed. And what they found for the most part, and across the board on, I think they said about 90% of the tour players, they actually go flex down in their wedges. They go from a X100 down to a S400. And Bob Vokey specifically said the reason why we have the S400 as a stock shaft is we found across the board, whether it was tour guys or not, that wedge flex, because it's a little bit softer, it's like a half step softer than an X100, but still enough, it launches the ball low enough and keeps the spin where it needs to be at. And those are your clubs you're actually scoring. Your driver you're hitting 14 times. If you're hitting it on every hole other than par 3 is wedges. You're hitting a 52, a 56, a 58, 54 on every single hole. Some of us, you might be hitting it coming back the other direction. So you're using those way more.
Brad Faxon hit a bunch of shots yesterday. We were watching him hit it. And it was, first of all, they're really good. They are really good. So when they were hitting shots, Brad Faxon starts talking about what groove you want to hit it on.
2 to 5.
Okay. Yep. He was a little more specific.
You have passed.
2 to 3.
2 to 3. Yeah, that's the ideal.
And if you hit it at 5, it changes the trajectory. Okay. So he hit shots, right? He was hitting shots. He hit a shot really nippy low, and he goes, that was on 2. And then he'd hit another one. He goes, no, that was 5. To literally see the ball flight difference was amazing to me. I mean, again, he hit everyone in the middle, but even he wasn't perfect all the time. And they said between 2 and 3 are where you get your most spin. Well, that answered a lot of questions for me because I'm like 7, 8. That's why I balloon it and I can't spin it. So those amateurs that say, they come into your shops and say, okay, I want to be able to hit that shot, that little nippy shot. And you look at where they are and they've never hit the second groove in their life unless they bladed it. Right. So that's what you should be trying to practice.
Right. And getting back to the whole tech and validating it, because before, as a tour player and a fantastic golfer, you understand, yeah, if I hit it like this, it's going to amount to more spin. Now we're actually seeing like, yeah, dude, we got the launch monitor right here. That is 3,000 more RPMs of spin based on the fact that you went down one groove, so that's a valuable tool in fitting wedges. So, and all clubs. So, okay. What time do we got?
I have no idea.
We got a time check here.
We out? Oh, we got 6 minutes.
Oh, jeez. We went through this pretty darn quick.
Can I put a quick fun thing to do if you ever come to the show?
Hit it up.
One of my favorite things to do when I come to the show.
Wait. The show or our show?
Well, my favorite thing is just to be on this show.
I got it. Okay.
But to come to the PGA show.
Yes.
And I don't know if you all have done it before, but there's a new product section.
Yes, I just walked through it.
Walking through that
Yep.
is one of the funnest things in the world because you're going to see some things that you would never imagine. And year over year over year, you swear it. They're never going to come up with anything new, and they come up with something new every single time. I saw what looked like a half of a crutch that you put a tee in.
Yes.
And it's a perfect tee. So you got to carry this thing in your bag,
Yep.
but it's the perfect tee. Every time you put a tee in the bottom,
Yep.
you put it down on the ground. When the idiot-proof tees came out, which are those white ones with yellow or blue, which gives you the exact level, I thought, okay, that was we've hit the Mount Everest of tee indications. But now you got this thing you can put in your bag and put it down. I mean, just silly things like that are one of the funnest things about coming to the show because you just think, well, I'm never going to see anything new. And you walk through that, and there's about 50 products that you never thought of in your life.
Well, I will tell you, too, that the fact that this game continues to evolve, we need to create new solutions.
Yes.
And, there's somebody thinking of a solution that we never knew there was a problem for. And that's one. All right. So
We talked about a solution to the game. We talked about this yesterday, and I saw it today. I didn't get a chance to see it at the demo day yesterday. It was the one where you actually, it looked like something out of Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Where you got the ball and you just push the button.
Push a button.
But this was cool because the guy just went through the whole spiel with this young lady. And she gets up there, she's ready, and he goes, okay, everybody, this is so-and-so, da-da-da. All right, go ahead. And what does she do? She takes a swing. This thing is actually one where you just push the button. You don't take a swing, you just address the ball, you hit the button, it takes off. She takes a full backswing.
I mean, you could have a drink in one hand and hit the button. You can go shoot sub 70 every time out.
It's
one-handed.
That was good stuff. So
I got this one from Albert Einstein. He's a good friend of mine.
That's exactly what it is.
So quick. The other thing about this is it's great people watching opportunity. And then, of course, you're going to see a few celebrities. And Corey name dropped a few. Greg, who have you seen so far today?
I have seen Woody Austin.
Okay.
I got really close to Woody Austin. I was kind of shivering actually a little bit. I saw Kyle Berkshire.
Yep.
Berkshire.
Oh, nice.
I saw Kyle Berkshire. He's not very big. Nancy Lopez.
Oh,
Dude,
was
you've
here?
been rubbing shoulders today.
I have been, yes.
Is it shoulders or elbows?
With me, they're both. Yes. So that's kind of. How about you?
Well, you named a few, but Sean Foley's been walking all around. So I saw
yeah.
Sean, and then our own Scotty McDonald, Ripstick from
Let's
the
go,
Minnesota
Scotty.
section.
Yeah.
Little home cooking.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Minnesota companies, sitting right there, got a nice booth front and present, when you walk in the doors. Yes, if you're looking for some speed training, I would definitely throw it out to Scotty.
We need a sponsor.
Yeah, we
There
do.
you go.
I had a
We
nice
need
chat
money.
with Josh Dobbs today in the Titleist booth, quarterback of the Vikings, about his little run that he had.
Really?
He's
Really
here.
nice guy. He's here, yeah. Really nice guy. I walked up, I'm like, that's Josh Dobbs. I'm like, Mr. Dobbs, I'm Corey Herlickson.
That's
Nice to meet you.
cool.
I live in Moorhead, Minnesota. Just want to say, hey, thanks for a nice little run that you had. He's like, oh, thanks. He's a big golfer. Big golfer.
Cool. That's cool.
How about you see anybody?
You know, I was hanging out a little bit over at True. I saw Andre Gonzalez. He's former player on the PGA Tour, and then also Parker McLaughlin, who's the short game chef. He's a teacher's teacher. You know, he's teaching the short game, and he's pretty fun to listen to. Outside of that, you know,
Would you see Jason Sudeikis today? Because I see him right now.
yeah, right in front of you. I did see Jason Sobel.
You talked to Jason Sobel.
I did for one sentence. No. Do you know who I am? No. It's pretty neat though as you're walking around, because you do a lot of double takes. You know, as you're like, is that is who that? You know, so it's neat being here. And shout out to the PGA for putting on an awesome show.
Thank you.
And thanks for. Yeah, I'm sure the PGA absolutely subscribes to the show, but you know the fit up that we've got today for Muni Misfits has been fantastic. It's been really cool to be up here. And also thank you so much, Corey Herlickson.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, head golf professional over at Oxbow. You're welcome anytime, sir.
Can I tell a quick funny celebrity story about bumping into a celebrity here?
Hit
Like
it
30
up.
seconds.
Yep, got it.
I'm with Ronnie Escarica in the Puma booth. And there's this girl who comes out of a back area where they have the meetings at. And I look at her and I'm like, I know that girl. I'm like, who's been our Puma rep? Okay, it's been Ronnie, but did Ronnie have this girl come in and like help out one time at the Dakota Merchandise Show or whatever? And I'm looking and I'm
We're closing her
Let's
down.
go.
It's closing time. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Muni Misfits on YouTube. Also check us out on Spotify and on Facebook. This has been a blast. Can't wait to recap this all next. Are we doing it next week? We're doing 2 weeks. Whenever you catch us is when you catch us. But hey, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time. This is Muni Misfits. Thanks for tuning in. Adios. Did we make it?
You did great.
This is probably the perfect time slot.
I think you're correct. Thanks, man.
Thank you.